everyone, we're here at the Norisring. Are you ready for the final showdown? Only one more qualifying and one more race in the DTM season 2021, and we're super excited. It is freezing cold, but we've got blue skies, sunshine, and so many fans here watching the final battle. It's going to be thrilling, and the man who's leading the championship is Lawson, 18 points ahead of Kelvin Van Der Linde, and only 1 point behind Kelvin is Cassidy. So these three are going to battle each other like crazy, that's for sure. And the man here, Liam, is already sitting in the car, so ready for the qualifying. So let's get started, and here's your commentator.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. So everybody, today is the day where we find out who will be the 2021 DTM champion. Will it be Lawson, Van Der Linde or Götz? It is, one thing is for sure, it's going to be a new DTM champion. Gerhard Berger, who has put together this new era of DTM, and hugely successful as it has been, the ITR chairman. That's the man who is the outgoing champion. René Rast here this weekend, been concentrating on racing in Formula E for this last season, but he a three-time DTM champion here to cast an interested eye over proceedings. 19 points then, covering the top three in the championship. As of now, 28 points still available. There's the home hero, the Franconian Maxi Götz, getting ready to go out. 2 race wins this season, including yesterday.
4, 3, 2.
But he has never been on pole position. Now would be the perfect time. Götz with a great drive yesterday, despite the fact he was carrying 15 kilograms of success ballast on board, getting a pretty dominant race win in the end, over 7.5 seconds clear of Arjun Maini, who had a brilliant drive to second place to become the first ever Indian driver to score a DTM podium. And Liam Lawson coming home in 3rd place ahead of his closest championship rival, Kelvin Van Der Linde, who had a real battle for 4th place with the teammate of Liam Lawson, Nick Cassidy, in the closing stages. A great move to get that 4th place right at the end, and a crucial couple of points. So there is the standings. Only 3 of them can now win it. Marco Wittmann dropping out of mathematical contention yesterday after another difficult day, another pointless day in terms of the BMW just struggling for pace. So 12th place yesterday from near the back of the grid for Marco. So 3 points for pole position, 2 for qualifying second, and a point for qualifying in 3rd. That can all have an effect. We've already had 19 points scored this season for Kelvin Van Der Linde. That's the equivalent of a 2nd place finish plus a point. 17 points from qualifying for Liam Lawson. Best qualifier on average, though, this year has been Kelvin Van Der Linde, who's averaged 4th on the grid and had 5 pole positions. It's the 3rd pole position of the season yesterday for Liam Lawson. No success ballast in qualifying, it just goes on in the race. So Max Götz, Arjun Maini and Liam Lawson, this man will be 3 drivers that will carry the success ballast into the 55-minute plus 1 lap race this afternoon. So we're a minute and a half away from qualifying.
Is Juncadella. So if it's easier for you, you can also go behind Juncadella.
So Kelvin Van Der Linde,
the first one is not that important. We try to just push straight away and get one banker, and it's not that important right now, the back position.
Copy. 1 minute to go.
Van Der Linde just getting a bit of advice as to where he can slot in, maybe behind Daniel Hagedère, but Kelvin not too worried at the moment. Just want to get a banker lap in. This is a sign for sure that championship pressure starts to build now on these 3, even more to a crescendo. Got to play it safe to a point, but with the points advantage that Liam Lawson has, you know that Kelvin Van Der Linde and Maxi Götz have really got to go for it today. They've got to beat him, and by some distance. We'll calculate all the various options in terms of who finishes where once we've got these qualifying points done ahead of the race. But in the driving seat is Liam Lawson. Sean Van Der Linde, 1994 South African touring car champion, twice a runner-up in South African touring cars, overseeing his 2 sons here this weekend, along with his wife, Bernie. Sheldon Van Der Linde, more bad luck yesterday, 7th retirement from 8 races. And Kelvin Van Der Linde, of course, is going for the title. Here we go then, the clock ticks down to 0. This is it, the final qualifying session of DTM 2021. Chris Hartley to talk you through the action here as the cars head out onto this 2.3 kilometre long circuit. Qualifying number 16 of the year, and it comes here at DTM Norisring, powered by BWT. And it is cold, everybody. heating's on in the commentary box for the first time this year. It's only 5 degrees air temperature and the track temperature even lower, 4.2 degrees. So it feels almost wintry now today, much cooler than it was for qualifying yesterday. That will have an effect on the track grip levels and on what they have to do with the setup of the cars and the tyres in particular. Quite a feat to get this circuit built and prepared. It takes 6 weeks to get everything built here. It takes a week to dismantle everything. Everything has to be put in place. There's 6 kilometres of FIA-approved catch fences, 18 kilometres of steel cables to fix those fences, 3 kilometres of concrete elements are needed. They have to put tyre stacks, curbstones, the power, the pit boxes they see to the left of your picture, they're all temporary, they all have to be built. The race control buildings all have to be built. Various containers, endless kilometres of hoses and power cables all have to put in place to put this street circuit, the only one of the DTM calendar, into serviceable mode for this fantastic race. It's a real challenge for the drivers, one they all thrive upon. And a street circuit where you can overtake. It's not easy, but you can overtake here. We saw plenty of wheel-to-wheel action yesterday. Turn 2 as it is, but the first real heavy braking zone into the hairpin at the Grundig-Kehrer, and a lot of the action goes on. But at the end of the lap, the Dutsen-Dijk you can get through as well. You've got the paving off the road there, where the grip levels change, the surface changes. There are bumps, there are white lines through the Scholler S, a tight section in the middle of the lap, and then these hairpins either side of the lap, which is all about not just being good on the brakes, but good on traction, good on exit, get the power down as quickly as you can, a long start-finish straight to end one lap and start the next. There's the Grundig-Kehrer, the first corner, the first real corner of this wonderful street circuit here. And here, head-to-head on boards with the top 2 in the championship. Liam Lawson to the right, Kelvin Van Der Linde to the left. The New Zealander, the South African, and don't forget the German, Maxi Götz, on real form. They're all smiles, they're all relaxed at least down at Abt, team of Kelvin Van Der Linde, do their morning stretches. Fans just waking up still, but pleased to be back with us in DTM after a long time away, because we weren't here at the Norisring last year. And at Red Bull AF Corsa, congratulations to them having wrapped up what was already looking like a certain championship title before we came to Norisring. They wrapped up the title yesterday. So well done to Red Bull AF, of course, their first season in DTM. They are teams champions. Right, let's see if the times maybe a little bit slower than yesterday. Yesterday's pole time set by Liam Lawson, 48.720.
Possible.
At the moment, it's a 51.7, that's the quickest time, and it's been set by Kelvin Van Der Linde. Maxi Götz is second with a 52.1. But there's more to come, and it might take an extra lap for these tyres to warm up in these cold conditions. So no real charging laps yet. When we get into the 49s, we can start to get excited about provisional pole position times. Right, Maxi Götz absolute best through the first sector, 18.5. That's about 4/10 slower than the first sector times of yesterday. Nick Cassidy has got to a low 50, 50.3. 5th place in his first DTM race yesterday. Almost doing his teammate Liam Lawson a huge favour by nicking that 4th place away from Kelvin Van Der Linde. He made a very late pit stop, which cost you a lap here, and he came out right in front of Van Der Linde. Kelvin having to slide the car down the inside into the hairpin to get the place back late on. Arjun Maini, who was a revelation yesterday. Well, it wasn't a revelation because we knew it was coming. He's been quicker and quicker and quicker the second half of the season. His qualifying pace has been great, despite having damage to the car yesterday after collision. Lots of them had collisions down at this corner at the start of the race yesterday. He was able to finish in 2nd place. And he's now set the absolute best 1st and 2nd sector times here. Still considerably slower than yesterday. Nick Cassidy's gone into the pits after setting that benchmark time. And a 50.795 for Arjun Maini puts him for now into 2nd place. But Kelvin Van Der Linde on a good lap. Personal best 1st sector is 2/10 up in the 2nd sector here. Maxi Götz is on a decent lap as well, but Kelvin Van Der Linde looks like he might be about to go to the top of the times here for now. He crosses the line, he does go quickest, 49. So 49.825, the first driver to break the 50-second barrier today. And Mike Rockefeller, his teammate, who he really needs to back him up today, is second, 49.848. But Arjun Maini, 18.23. That's a really good 1st sector time. That's only a 10th or so slower than we were going yesterday in much warmer conditions. 15.36 through the 2nd sector. So it's almost matching the absolute best middle sector, and he's quicker at the start of the lap. So Arjun Maini is about to get himself back up, possibly onto the front row of the grid, maybe onto provisional pole position. It's provisional pole, 49.344. That puts him nearly half a second quicker than Kelvin Van Der Linde, who is also on a charge. He's gone even quicker than Arjun through the middle sector. He's coming up to complete another lap here. At the moment, Kelvin has slipped back off that provisional pole position. What can he do? He goes into the pits. So it was a good start to the lap, but he goes into the pits in the end. He did a personal best first sector, absolute best second sector, and then aborted the lap. So there's more to come. And Lucas de Gracie has gone second for now, 14.9.647. 3/10 adrift still of Maini. Maxi Götz is 0.07 of a second slower than him and has gone third. And Matson Abril fourth, 49.671. So it's Mercedes, Audi, Mercedes, then another Mercedes, Daniel Ricciardo, who did a very long stint yesterday as Arjun Maini goes even quicker, 49.33 on that lap. Absolute best final sector. Takes a few more hundredths of a second out of his previous best time. Grows the gap to 0.312 seconds. Lucas de Gracie on a personal best lap, though. Would it be good enough to get back onto provisional pole? Might be his getting the gap down. I'm not sure he's quite going to do it. No, not quite. 49.43. But look at Daniel Ricciardo, who has done the absolute best middle sector. He's coming for the line now. Maxi Götz goes over the line too. And Ricciardo goes into second. Maxi Götz at the moment is in fifth place. So it's Maini, Ricciardo, de Gracie, Rockefeller, the top four. Götz in fifth, Abril sixth, Wittmann in seventh in the BMW. And then Kelvin Van Der Linde, eighth, but there's more to come. Timo Glock does a personal best to get into the top 10. There's one name we haven't really mentioned or seen yet. This is Liam Lawson, who's in the pits. He went out, did a couple of laps, but not a flyer. Look at this, Marco Wittmann, absolute best middle sector. The BMW clearly goes better in the cooler conditions. The colder track temperature suiting the BMW. Marco Wittmann, who's been nowhere so far this weekend, goes up to fifth place. Good effort. And Lucas de Gracie goes quickest, 49.327, 0.08 of a second ahead of Arjun Maini. Maxi Götz goes into the top three. So he's the only championship contender who's going to pick up a point if it stays like this, and it'll only be one. That would draw him level on points with Kelvin Van Der Linde, but Kelvin would hold on to second in the championship by dint of the fact that he's got more race wins, 4 versus 2. But Lucas de Gracie has found something special here. He got a penalty at the end of the race yesterday for his mega late pit stop. He got 60-second penalty for that, and he also left the pit lane under a red light, so got another 30 seconds slapped onto his race time. So it wasn't a happy day one for Lucas de Gracie, but certainly switched it around for now. 49.327. He set the fastest time of the session. He's 0.08 up on Arjun Maini as we go into the sort of natural break in the session. And Maxi Götz is only 0.18 of a second adrift in third, with Daniel Ricciardo 0.30 of a second adrift and in fourth place. Championship update, the only thing that's changed there is one more point being added on to Maxi Götz at the moment to draw him level on 2.06 with Kelvin Van Der Linde, who's going back out now, number 3 at Sportsline Audi. There's Arjun Maini, provisional pole. Can he get his first pole position? He's qualified in the top 3 on 2 occasions and qualified 4th yesterday as well. Team Get Speed doing an excellent job in their pit stop yesterday. Turned him around in 6.5 seconds, but Arjun's in-lap was also mega. He came in and was battling with Liam Lawson, and his in-lap was 1.3 seconds quicker than Liam's in-lap, which is what helped leapfrog him ahead of the Ferrari. So Lucas de Gracie is in his second weekend of DTM. 7 years racing in Formula E, and this really a present for him almost from Audi for his service to bring him into DTM. Maybe, you never know, maybe a tester for next year. But the Brazilian doing a good job so far. Maximilian Buch got into the points yesterday, and he's just got himself up into 7th place. So 49.650. We have got less than half a second covering the top 9. And I mentioned 9 because 9th is Kelvin Van Der Linde. Lawson 14th at the moment. But don't rule him out. You saw how quick he was yesterday. He's just coming over the line, but still building up speed. The Red Bull AF Corsa Ferrari just behind Max Buch's Luca Motorsport Mercedes there, number 18. And there is Liam Lawson. He hasn't put a proper lap in yet, so his best time is 1.8 seconds adrift of the provisional pole position time. The other Ferrari of Nick Cassidy is not that far ahead of him, in 12th position currently. Very, very different track conditions. Still only 5.9 degrees air temperature. So the air temperature's gone up half a degree since we started qualifying, but the track temperature has not risen at all. It's 4.2 degrees. What worked with your setup yesterday might not necessarily work today. You might have to tweak things. But they will have known at the start of the day that they were in for a cold qualifying session. So Liam Lawson trying to make sure he gets track position. Still maybe looks like he's building up the temperatures of the brakes and the tyres. Not yet unleashing the full power of that Ferrari. There's Esme Orki, had a tough day yesterday. Involved in that pile-up at the first corner, or the first real corner at Brandikera, and into the wall, damage to the car, DNF for Esme. Tough weekend so far, but she's going to come back fighting. There's Dev Gore, who had problems in his pit stop yesterday, which cost him a bit of time. And then, of course, you lose a lap, more or less. Some lost not quite a lap, others lost more than a lap in their pit stops. But once he'd lost a lap, then he got lots of blue flags, of course, so he had to get off the gas and get out of people's way. So the pit stop really did cost him. At the moment, he's gone into the top 10 with a 49.857. Good effort for the American in his first season of DTM. So getting crowded. And a note that the Ferrari of Liam Lawson is not that far on the road, ahead of the Audi of Kelvin Van Der Linde. Just while they're over racing BMW sandwiched in between them. Dev Gore's on another decent lap here, 18.369 through the first sector. That's only at 1/10 of a second down on the absolute best first sector time, but he is 4/10 down in the middle of the lap. However, he could well be improving. If he finds 1 or 2 tenths, he could get himself into the top 7 or 8. See what Dev can do in the Team Rosberg Audi. His teammate Nico Muller there as well. Dev doesn't improve in the end, but it is another sub-50-second lap. I don't think we're going to get into the 48s today like we did yesterday. Maximilian Buch improves, though, up into 6th place. 49.459 seconds, exactly the same time as Mike Rockefeller. Rocky set the time first, so he gets 5th on the grid for now, and Buch 6th. Nico Muller improving, but only to 13th place. Esme Hawkey's found some pace. She's just moved up to 17th, and Nick Cassidy is on a personal best lap here, but it's not a flying lap. It's 3/10 down in the first sector. Second sector looks pretty good, though, at 15.25. Marco Wittmann's got the best middle sector currently with a 15.1. So, yeah, not a bad lap. 7th place for Nick Cassidy. First Ferrari into the top 10. What about Liam Lawson? 18.6 seconds through the first sector, so he's still building it up. Still not flying yet. He's 4/10 down in the first sector. And no, he's going slowly in the middle sector as well. So Liam Lawson leaving it late, but still 7 minutes on the clock. And Max Buch goes to the top of the times. 49.256 seconds. The best lap of the session so far. By 71 thousandths of a second, he nudges ahead of Lucas de Gracie. 79 thousandths between the top 3, 89 thousandths of a second between the top 4. But Nick Cassidy now puts in the absolute best middle sector. He's a 10th down in the first sector. He's slightly up in the second sector by a few hundreds. This could be a top 3, could even be provisional pole position for Nick Cassidy. The number 23 AlphaTauri Ferrari comes over the line, and he goes quickest with a 49.024. Maybe we will get into the 48s. The track starting to grip up now. So by 2/10 of a second, Nick Cassidy finds time. Great effort from him. Now Liam Lawson has pulled the trigger. Almost matching the best time in Sector 1. It's a good Sector 2 time. It's just been bettered, though, by Kelvin Van Der Linde, who's right behind him on the road. Lucas de Gracie going even quicker at the start of this lap. This is going to be a real crescendo. Lawson might be going on to provisional pole. He is. But watch for Van Der Linde just behind. He comes across the line. Does he go even quicker? No, he doesn't. Goes 3rd. So Liam Lawson quickest. His first proper attempt. But Nick Cassidy, his teammate, is on a flyer. Lucas de Gracie is on a flyer as well. So it could all change. It's going to be one of these sessions, I think, where the last one over the line almost is the one that gets pole position. De Gracie loses out in the last sector, but Cassidy goes to the top of the times. Ferrari 1-2, 48.862 for Nick, 48.974 for Liam. 1/10 of a second between them, and Kelvin 3/10 down in 3rd place. Maxi Buch, who was a provisional pole, now 4th. Mike Rockefeller is up to 5th. And Lucas de Gracie, who was also a provisional pole for a while, he's down to 6th place now. Max Buch with another decent lap, 49.33, but it's not quite his best, so he stays where he is at the moment, down in 4th place. Sophia Flor, she's just improved up to 13th place, and Nick Cassidy briefly does the absolute best first sector time, but that has been bettered by Nico Muller, who is 10th at the moment. He's done the absolute best first sector time, just a few thousandths of a second quicker than Cassidy through that part of the lap. So Cassidy and Muller the ones to keep an eye on now. Muller with a personal best in the second sector as well. Nick Cassidy has backed off his lap, so where's this going to put Nico Muller in the number 51 Team Rosberg Audi? He's on a charge here, waiting for him to come out through the final corner and over the line momentarily. He's just behind Philip Ellis. It's not quite enough for the front row, but it puts him into 4th place. Rocky's gone 3rd. Meanwhile, Dev Gore's gone 11th. They're all improving. But it's Nick Cassidy and Liam Lawson, a Ferrari front row lockout as it stands. And Kelvin Van Der Linde is back in 7th place. 2 more championship points coming the way of Liam Lawson. 1 more point coming the way of Maxi Götz, who is in 3rd place as it stands. 4 minutes to go. Arjun Maini might have something to say about this, though. Personal best 1st and 2nd sectors for the driver that was on provisional pole and is now down in 9th place. Surely going to rise back up the order with this lap, though. Liam Lawson, 48.9 again on his last lap, which was almost as good as the previous one. Still there in 2nd place behind his teammate, which you won't be too worried about. Maxi Götz improving his time, but staying in 3rd place with a low 49, and Daniel Hunkadale goes into 2nd place, 48.994. Look at Liam Lawson, though. Absolute best 1st sector and 2nd sector. The Red Bull number 30 Ferrari is about to sprint through the final turn. And this, look at that, 14.94, the best middle sector of the entire weekend. He comes over the line. This should be pole position, and is 48.62. Quarter of a second up on his teammate Nick Cassidy. Philip Ellis has gone into 5th place with a good lap as well. Day after his birthday when he got a point, but had that contact with Liam Lawson, which was being investigated. Team Windward put in a protest about that after the race, but it was later turned down by the officials on a technicality, as far as I understand. So it's been turned down for now. But Nick Cassidy, absolute best 1st sector, and it's a really good 2nd sector as well. Cassidy could be about to get close to provisional pole position here. Lawson's not going as quickly at the moment. Lucas Auer, 18.04 through the 1st sector. Nick Cassidy, what's he done? Not quite enough. It's his best lap of the session. Puts him 1/10 exactly behind Liam Lawson, but he stays where he is. Arjun Maini has gone into 4th, where he was yesterday. Kelvin Van Der Linde goes 3rd, back up into the top 3, back up into the points for Kelvin. Lucas Auer, though, he's going to put a cat amongst the pigeons here. The Mercedes goes through and he goes 3rd, and he takes that point back away from Kelvin Van Der Linde. Maxi Götz has been pushed all the way down to 7th place at the moment, and he's not on a particularly quick start to the lap here. We've still got time. 2 minutes, but that's time for a few laps around the Norisring. Hunkadale puts in another decent effort, stays in 5th place though. Now, Kelvin Van Der Linde has just done the absolute best 1st sector time, 18.030, and the absolute best 2nd sector time. So Kelvin Van Der Linde is on a charge here. He needs there to be no traffic in front of him. I think he's going to be okay coming out of the last corner, but this is a charge for pole position for Kelvin Van Der Linde. Can he do it? Is it enough? No. 2nd though, puts him back onto the front row of the grid. 41 thousandths of a second behind Liam Lawson. So the top 2 in the championship at the moment are going to be on the front row of the grid again, just as they were yesterday. But there's still time to go in this session. Arjun Maini on a good lap here, puts him back into the top 6. Philip Ellis, he's not quite going to be on a front row pace, but this will be an improvement from 8th place, I'm sure, for the number 57 Windward Mercedes as he comes through. And it is, he goes 5th place with that. Sophia Florsch up to 11th, looking for her best qualifying of the year so far. She's just improved, right behind Mike Rockefeller. But Max Buch has just improved and got himself into the top 10 and bumped them all down a place. Kelvin Van Der Linde not on a charge on this lap, as he's saving it for 1 more run. What about Liam Lawson? Liam Lawson with a 48.680. That is the 3rd best lap of the session, a fraction behind his own provisional pole time and a fraction behind Kelvin Van Der Linde's best time of the session so far. Arjun Maini continues to get quicker and quicker here, right behind Vincent Abril as he comes over the line. 6th place, his best lap of the session. Philip Ellis still there, just ahead of him in 5th position, but it's very, very close. We're into the final 25 seconds. Nico Muller comes through. He's going to get 1 more lap out of the session. Ellis is going to get 1 more lap out of the session, and Lawson is on another decent lap here, under 15 seconds through the 2nd sector, so you know it's going to be somewhere in the 48s, this. Will it be an improvement again? He showed yesterday he could pull 2 or 3 or 4 quick laps off in qualifying. He goes through 48.645. It's not quite his best, but it is only 23 thousandths of a second away from his own provisional pole time. The checkered flag is now out. Kelvin Van Der Linde with his best lap of the session, going 2nd, but 41 thousandths of a second, the gap between them, to the absolute best 1st sector time. But Liam Lawson with the edge, just 41 thousandths of a second. Van der Linde has got one more lap, though. He got through before the checkered flag came out. So too Nick Cassidy, who had a good start to the lap with a personal best. He's slightly down in the second sector, but he's looking to get himself back onto the front row of the grid here. And Liam Lawson is still flying. Absolute best middle sector of the lap so far. Oh, and he's clipped the wall, Liam Lawson. He's found the edge. He's gone beyond it. And he goes straight for the pits.
Box.
Nick Cassidy crosses the line, stays third. Oof, Audi into the wall.
Van der Linde just did the same thing.
Kelvin Van Der Linde and Liam Lawson, both almost within a few yards of each other, into the wall.
P3 is Cassidy, next Audi's P9, Nico.
So Liam Lawson gets his second pole position. There is how it looked from the exterior, and you could tell they were on the ragged edge there. Liam Lawson was on another flying lap, determined to get this pole position. Van der Linde the same, on a real charge, and they both just slightly overcooked it. So in the end, both of them within seconds of each other. The Ferrari, then the Audi, into the wall. Hopefully not too much damage to either car, but it just shows you that these gladiators are giving it 100%. So Liam Lawson picks up 3 championship points. Kelvin Van Der Linde 2. The gap between the pair of them grows now to 19 points. The gap to Maxi Götz in third to 20 points. And again, it's thousandths of a second, 41 thousandths of a second between them. And then Cassidy almost getting onto the front row of the grid with his final lap, but he stayed third. Lucas Auer fourth. Now he's got all that weight off the car. Philip Ellis fifth. Daniel Hankadea in sixth place. Arjun Maini seventh. Maxi Götz down in eighth. He'll be disappointed with that, but he had a great start to the race yesterday. Don't rule him out just yet. He's going to be going for it, that's for sure. Nico Muller ninth. Maxi Buch in 10th place. And then Mike Rockefeller 11th. Abd could do with him a bit higher up the order to help out Kelvin Van Der Linde. Vincent Abril 12th, Sophia Florsch 13th, Lucas de Gracie, remember, was on provisional pole halfway through the session, ends at 14th, Esteban Moot in 15th, Marco Wittmann 16th, Esme Hawkey 17th, Sheldon Van Der Linde 18th, Dev Gore 19th, and Timo Glock in 20th place. So what a dramatic qualifying session that was. And you could tell that every single thousandth of a second, every point they could get, they were giving it full beans. Nick Cassidy, though, has proven to be a thorn in the side so far this weekend for Kelvin Van Der Linde, and he almost took that second position away from him. In the end, only 18 thousandths of a second between them. Cassidy third, Van Der Linde second, but frustratingly for the South African, he's now lost another championship point to Liam Lawson, who gets his 4th pole position of the year. And like Kelvin Van Der Linde, he's taken now 2 pole positions in a weekend, like Kelvin did last time out at Hockenheim. He edges another couple of inches closer towards that championship trophy, but we've still got the big one to come, the final race of the season, and that is how on the limits and even beyond the limits they were going, just to get those few extra points and that extra little bit of position on the grid for the 55-minute plus 1 lap race. Round 16 of the championship coming up. A thrilling qualifying session then here at DTM Norisring, powered by BWT. And it leaves Liam Lawson now on 227 points, 19 clear of Kelvin Van Der Linde and 20 clear of Maxi Götz. And there are only 25 championship points as a maximum now available. So that is a healthy lead, but it is still not an unassailable lead. We'll go into the final race of the season with 3 drivers still in contention for the 2021 championship. So Liam Lawson does it again. Left it late, didn't really put much mileage in the first half of the session, but then he did a number of very quick laps. And they'll go to inspect the damage. I heard him apologising to the team on the radio, and they're like, don't worry about it. You've got pole position. We'll get the car fixed. But yeah, might be a bit of work down in the garage at AF Corsa, and likewise down at Abds after that. And there they go. Rivals they are, but there's great respect amongst these 2 drivers. They've been battling all season long. He was asked if he was asleep last night with the excitement. He said, I think so. I think I feel all right. We'll see. Ask me again tomorrow. But he looks bright and breezy, the New Zealander. 2 New Zealanders in the top 3. Nick Cassidy. Great to see him. I had a good chat with him yesterday after the race. and he was really enjoying it. He doesn't get much of a break because he starts Formula E again in November, so he's only got a few weeks off. He said, but to be honest, I don't want to break. I want to keep racing. I want to race every weekend. But he's really enjoyed DTM. He's loved the atmosphere. He said it's a nice, relaxed atmosphere. And of course, Nick is well versed in racing streets because he's been part of Formula E this year and been racing street circuits all the time. Been here before in Formula 3, and he loves the place as well. I haven't spoken to a single driver this weekend who doesn't love the challenge of racing here. Maxi got yesterday saying that it was such an emotional victory for him. He said, I was crying on the way back to the pits after I won the race. To take victory in my home race here was such a special feeling. He's got more work to do from 8th on the grid, though. Let's hear now from some of our top 3 drivers down with Verena Vries.
Oh, and it's so exciting. With me is Kelvin Van Der Linde. Kelvin, that's really tricky. You're in P2, that means 19 points behind Liam. And you were both of you were pushing it to the limits. In the end, I think you still touched the wall a little bit. I hope the car is fine. But starting from here, I mean, how tough is the race going to be? How tough is this championship?
It's going to be tough. I mean, we have the inside for turn 1 again, so we probably have to perfect the move from yesterday, try and see if we can do a bit better. But, I mean, the 2 Ferraris are very fast, so we need to see if we can hang on in the race. And yeah, we have nothing to lose, so let's see. And
being sandwiched by the 2, Liam in front and then Cassidy in the back, that's going to be tricky too, right?
Oh, we had the same yesterday, so I'm used to that, and we'll fight on in the race.
All right. Thanks. Best of luck. It's going to be so exciting. Thank you so much, Kelvin. And where's Nick? Nick's here. We're going to grab Nick for a second. Sorry, just interrupting. Nick, hello there. Wow, so what a qualifying for you. I mean, P3, that means you're going to be probably giving everything to support Liam, to win the race, or to support Liam?
Yeah, no, to win the race.
All right.
Come on, I mean, Liam's he's a fast young dude. He can do the job himself. He did pole yesterday, pole today. He's fine all by himself. Actually, I haven't seen you all weekend. I didn't even know that.
There you go.
You didn't know I was here.
Well, we certainly know you're here. But how tough, I mean, how good is it for you being here in the DTM? And this championship is just really nerve-wracking. What's it like for you being here?
Yeah, nerve-wracking. No, I'm having a lot of fun. It's nice for me this weekend. I can come in and just enjoy. I mean, you know, it's not really anything to prove. Just have a lot of fun with the guys. And obviously, Liam's in a good position. But yeah. Enjoying the weekend. And
also, I mean, with all the spectators, the sunshine, and Norisring, what do you think of the track?
It's an awesome place. I love this venue. The racing's always good. Qualifying's exciting because there's a bit of strategy to that as well. But yeah, awesome to be back, and the race will be quite fun.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Nick.
Cool.
And
cheers.
Yeah, we're going to grab Liam in just a second, but back to you for the moment.
Thanks, Frida. Great to hear from Nick. He's a great character, really lovely guy, and terrific racing driver as well. So it's brilliant to have him here this weekend. I asked him yesterday, is it good for Liam that you're here? Because you're pretty chilled out, you're quite bubbly, you're quite jokey, and he should relax him this weekend. He said, I think so. I'm trying to keep the atmosphere light, just to help ease the pressure a little bit. He said, but you know what? He's fine all by himself. He knows exactly what he's doing. So great respect there between the 2 drivers. Liam yesterday saying, you know, really looked up to Nick as a kid, and you know, hero of mine. It's fantastic to be racing with him this weekend. So Kelvin Van Der Linde now, his only hope is to get a race win this afternoon. You never know. That's it from qualifying from the commentary box. Join me, Chris Hartley, this afternoon. But now we'll end with our final interview with Verena.
I've got the man here who's starting in pole position, Liam Lawson. You managed to extend the lead even more. You're in P1, the most important, obviously being ahead of Kelvin. But it's going to be such a tricky race, right? Especially the start, I guess, is the most crucial.
Yeah, for sure. I think after yesterday's starts, I think there's no doubt Kelvin will be aggressive again. So we got to be ready for that. Nick did a great job today. He's been improving all weekend, so he's really put it together. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was sitting P1 most of the session there, so I had to get my act together a little bit. But no, really, really good results. Puts us in a good position for the race. I broke the car, so we need to fix that. But no, looking forward to the afternoon.
That's what it's like when you're going to the limits.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Liam.
You.
Looking forward to a very, very exciting race, that's for sure. You do not want to miss it. So now here are the highlights. We'll see you later for an exciting race. Bye-bye.